The initial story went something like this. A Las Vegas special education teacher and her wife got mixed up with drug dealers, and then one of them is kidnapped.
But the story is far what it seems. And tonight, that teacher wants you to know what really happened here. Joe Viel is here with the Fox 5 special report.
Well, the teacher has one word for what happened. Scam. It was a hoax. It never happened, but she didn't know that at the time. Completely fooled, she spent 7 long, stressful hours driving around town, getting money to pay the scammers. It was a lazy Saturday in March. Special education teacher Lisa Rodriguez got up, fed her dogs, and then went back to bed.
I was out like a light, and then the phone rang.
Well, only if she would have let that phone call go to voicemail.
I'm going to be the reason my wife dies today.
Well, still groggy, Rodriguez thought her wife Ann was in a car crash. The situation was much more sinister.
He said, we are drug dealers, and your wife got involved in something she shouldn't have been involved in. So are you going to help us or not?
It's the first of many threats Rodriguez would hear that day.
And I said, yes, I'm going to help you, because if you hang up this phone and you call the police, she's dead.
Well, you may be thinking, why didn't she just hang up? Well, first, the caller knew Lisa's wife's name, who was at work, and this made it 100% real for her.
He had put her on. And she was crying. Through her crying, I couldn't understand what she was saying. I'm okay, but please help. I don't know how they did it, but it sounded exactly like her.
The scammer said Ann told them the couple had $3,000 to give. In this ring video, Lisa rushes out the door. Her first stop, an ATM withdrawal from the Wells Fargo at Cactus and Decatur.
$700. And they said, okay, you're going to take the $700. You're going to go to Walmart. You're going to MoneyGram it.
I got home at like 9:20, had a conversation with the neighbor, and I saw her car wasn't there, which was very strange because we had kind of had plans when I got home from work in the morning.
Well, things in the house didn't look quite right, and a concerned wife did some detective work.
Went on our cell phone account and pulled up the phone record, and that's when I see she's on an international phone call. And I'm like, shoot, she fell for a scam.
He gave me very specific instructions.
The scammers knew people would be calling and texting to find out where she was. They told Lisa calls and texts were from them, meant as a test, not to answer anything. Of course, Ann sent text messages and called, as did many other worried loved ones.
They kept reminding me, you cannot answer your text, you cannot answer your phone. If you do, game over.
Over the next 7 hours, she would drive to banks and credit unions and places to send money.
The first time I went to the ATM, the second time I went through the teller, and I got $1,000.
Lisa didn't drink or eat for hours.
I think I asked permission to go to the bathroom once, and he said, you have to take me with you. And so I did. I kept him on speaker. I went to the bathroom.
The sleuth that she is, Ann saw Lisa was taking out money and put a hold on their account, which means Lisa couldn't make any more withdrawals. Scammers demanded she get money elsewhere.
I said, I'll hawk my wedding ring.
Well, Lisa says she went to the famous Pawn Stars shop, but the scammers said the money being offered wasn't enough.
You have to figure something else out.
The scammers demanded Lisa go to family for money. On her way to Ann's sister's home, Lisa concocted a plan to expose her kidnappers without them knowing.
I picked up a pen and started writing all over my arm so that when I knocked on the door at my family's house, they could read what was happening instead of me having to speak it, so that they could call the police or that they could help me. I knock on the door, my sister-in-law opens the door, and I'm standing there, and I go like this.
Because at that point, my sister, we've been looking for her, so my sister sees her, and she's just like ready to like, here you are. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, here you are. And I look at her and I go, don't talk. And I'm going like this, and I'm like pointing to my hand and to my arm. I'm like, and she's like, Lisa, Ann is with Jerry. And I'm like, no. And I'm pointing. I'm like, they have her. They're going to kill her, or she's already dead.
It took a while, but Ann's sister finally convinced Lisa it was all a scam. And Lisa did what she now wishes she would have done 7 hours earlier.
My sister-in-law says, hang up the phone, Lisa. I hang up the phone and I drop to the ground. And I was unbearably out of it for a good 20 minutes. I was just laying on her floor, screaming and sobbing. I hung up, but they called back. When I saw the number, it's kind of like seeing a rapist. I just threw it. I was ready to vomit.
In the end, the scammers got what they wanted, money. $1,700. This might be embarrassing for anyone to talk about, but Lisa and Ann say it's important you know this scam exists and say it's okay to let an unknown phone call go to voicemail.
If you do happen to answer a phone, and it is one of those kind of situations, know now for me having my situation that it's a scam and hang up.
Now, by the way, the couple nearly foiled this scam early on. They almost met up. When Lisa left, Ann came home just 30 minutes later when it would have been game over for the scam. So how did the scammers know so much about the couple? You can read details in our web story right now. At the update desk, Joe Vigil, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.